Hello, I'm Tina Taylor and I'm here with Anders Piper, Master Trainer and International Director for Sports Performance Coaching for the Society of NLP. Hi, I'm here now with Anders Piper, Licensed Master Trainer of NLP with the Society of NLP, and also author of the book Flow. Before I continue, Anders, please explain a little bit about flow. What is it specifically?
Well, flow, as many athletes will refer to as being in the zone, is the state that you're in, where the challenges you experience and your level of skill or resources match each other, so that you get absorbed in doing what you're doing simply because you enjoy doing it, and you forget about time and space and just do.
So you're helping people to access that state of excellence that champion athletes seem to be able to access automatically.
Well, it's actually something we all access. It's just the question is how aware are you and what can you do to do it more often. And as you build your skills in any given context, not just sports, but any given context, you're going to have the ability to experience flow more often. And what we can do is we can help people design things in their mind so that they can enhance their chance of getting there even more often, athletes and all other people. Yes.
Now, I understand that you've got these unique courses, these licensed sports coach courses that you're running. What can people expect to learn on one of those courses? What kind of skills do you give them?
Well, I think one of the skills we give them, and that allows me to correct you a little bit, is that it's actually called the Licensed Sports Performance Coach. And one of the things that we actually give them is the mindset to perform as coaches. When you're dealing with performers, and that can be athletes, but for that sake also executives, any kind of performers, they expect to meet people who are at their peak, because that's what they're up against every day. So as a coach, as a sports coach, you need to be at your peak as well, and you need to be able to work at that level and multitask with all your skills. And that's really what we focus on in this training, is the ability to melt and blend all your NLP skills into one substance called sports performance coaching.
Which brings me to the next thought that I had. You have to be an NLP practitioner or master practitioner to attend one of these trainings.
Yes, that's correct.
What will they get from your course that they don't already have from their NLP training?
Well, it's an interesting question, because I've actually had people participating who are even master trainers, and they have gained knowledge. So one of the things that we focus on, and I think probably more than any other training, at least that I'm aware of, is the elicitation skills. Again, when you work with performers, they expect you to shoot sharp. And in order to shoot sharp, you have to be sharp so that you know where to go in and do the work. And that means doing the elicitation right. And that's where we spend a lot of time. Spend a lot of time with strategies as well, and your ability not only to elicit the strategies, but also to work with them and enhance them.
One of the things that I remember hearing on my very first practitioner training, way, years and years and years ago in the 1990s, one of my trainers said that when you're going out into the big wide world, if you're going to look for a coach or a practitioner, you needed to find someone who could walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Now, I understand you are a champion in Denmark. So,
or at least has been. It's a couple of years ago. Yeah. I wish it. Actually, wish. Yeah.
But you are a champion.
I'm a three-time national champion. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, in what way did these techniques help you become a champion?
Well, here's the funny part. When I had my championships, I actually was not consciously aware of much of what I was doing. I was very fortunate in the sense that I had an American coach who was, in his old wisdom, and he was an old chap, in his old wisdom actually did a lot of the things that we do with NLP. He didn't do it as NLP, he just did it as a coach. He was very good at working on the mental aspects of the game. And I recognized later on a lot of the things he was doing unconsciously as well is actually related to what we do and what we have techniques for to do. So we can speed up the process with the NLP stuff. but yes, so it's a really interesting setup. So I wish to some extent that I've had it back then, because I'm thinking, gosh, what could I have done even better?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Although having done that and become a champion yourself, it enables you to actually go back and model and acquire the attitude, the state that's needed.
And also understand other athletes in similar situations and the different pressures and workloads and the dedication, the commitment they have, the sacrifices they make. And that's another part of the things we go through, is you got to be able to work tough as well, because you're working with people who are very dedicated and who really sacrifices in order to achieve.
When they've attended this training and achieved their licensed sports performance certification, does that then give them everything they need to go out and become a sports coach?
It's definitely an advantage having done sports yourself. So typically we say that the prerequisite is that you have a practitioner, or even better, a master practitioner, and that you have some kind of background in sports. You don't have to have been an elite athlete, so you don't have to be an elite amateur or pro athlete, but you've done sports, so you know the sporting world. I'm not a believer that you have to work within your own sport, because what we do with NLP is the mental process and streamlining strategies, etc. And sometimes it's actually easier when you don't know the sport too much, but understanding the life of an athlete is important.
What about somebody who understands commitment, but isn't actually sporty, that really wants to get into sports coaching?
We've had a couple of people participating in the training, but since most of what we do is related to sports, they can do it, and they've been successful, but they don't have as much to offer in the exercises, simply because of the context of the sport.
Okay.
But obviously it can happen, and there are people I've seen. Probably one of the best examples was a guy that definitely was not fit, but he was already working with ultra runners. The funny thing was, as part of the training, as it moved on, he actually engaged himself and made a commitment to himself that he would also start working out and getting in better shape. So that's a byproduct.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, to have a probably feel more part of the experience, it definitely helps if you have some kind of sports background. And again, it can be leisure sports as long as you have some kind of sport. And most people today have that at some level.
What about children? Do these techniques work well with children?
I mean, whoever has a brain.
So they need to have a practitioner certificate
and a brain. Yes.
Okay.
The youngest participant we had so far was 13, and he was still able to follow and master the skills. So it's a matter of being dedicated. Now, I understood your question the other way around, not as much as participation, but also can you work with children?
Yes, can you coach children?
And obviously you can. There are things in their experience that are more limited, their descriptions, their vocabulary, the richness of their experience. You have to sometimes work a little harder with eliciting. But sure you can. It works greatly, and children are great hypnotic subjects, so it's actually quite fun sometimes, because you look at them and then they vaporize in front of you into a deep trance.
And then you can just feed in those suggestions. Yeah. Also, I was thinking, there'll be many different people listening to this recording. Some of them will be interested in coaching for sports. Some of them may be budding athletes or people that do sports for leisure. What's something a piece of advice that you could give them right now to help them improve?
Well, it really depends, because I don't think that there's one pill that cures all diseases or one hammer that fixes all the fixings. So, and that's why we spend so much time on teaching people the art of elicitation, so that they become more precise. I want them to become the coaching surgeon who has a knife and can go in and cut exactly where it's needed, instead of just cutting all over the place, which we see sometimes. So that's where we spend a lot of time, and I think that's one of the things that they also comment on, is that they're surprised at how much more information they can actually gather. So in that respect, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So where can we find out more information about these trainings that you're running? What's the website?
The website is www, and then it's International NLP Sports Academy, so it's inlpsa.com, and it's going to have much more information. You're going to find testimonials from previous participants about their experiences and the information about where it takes place.
And what kind of feedback have you received so far from your previous participants?
I almost blush when I read it, but it's outstanding. People really love it. It's a demanding training, and a lot of people will testify that it's probably one of the most demanding trainings in the world of NLP. That's by design and by intention, because again, it's about performance, so we want people to be able to perform at a higher level, and that also means being pushed to higher level. So that's one of the things we do. I want to mention one interesting outcome that we've had a couple of times, because that's kind of the little bonus that some people have gotten. For instance, we had a professional handballer at the end of the career taking the course because she wanted to transition into mental conditioning with fellow teammates, and then eventually go full-time on mental conditioning. And what she realized by doing the techniques was that we made her jump higher and run faster so that she could shoot harder. So when she got back, she actually revamped her career. And the national handball coach for Denmark, who lives right around the corner from me, said, "What have you done to her? She's 42 and she's 24 and getting better every day."
Wow.
So techniques work, yes. Yeah. And we've seen that with a lot of people. We had a guy in Finland who was running the biggest mixed martial arts institute up there, and he got so inspired from working with others and having the things done to him that he decided, well, I might as well go back and re-win a world championship at the age of 40. So a lot of things happen in that training as well.
So you get some fantastic results, not just for the coaches, but also the athletes who are possibly thinking they're at the end of their career as athletes and they're going to become coaches themselves. Yeah. And they find by using these techniques, they revamp their career.
And not just at the end of the career. We've had some who's in the middle and in the start of their career. But yes, they realize that they can actually achieve more and perform better.
And I know that you've worked with some professional elite athletes as well. What kind of results have you had with them?
Tremendously good results. I've had footballers who had interesting experiences that slowed them down in their new interactions. I'm not allowed to go into too much detail here, but who with actually for me fairly simple techniques were able to then go back and engage fully in the game again, which can mean the difference from a new contract worth millions of dollars or euros or pounds, whatever currency you are in. In some, it's about streamlining strategies. I've worked a lot with golfers. I find them terribly funny because they like talking to themselves. It's just that they're not always so productive in what they say to themselves. So a lot of fun with them, because the things they say to themselves, you've got to laugh at. And the point is, of course, with NLP, we like to get people to laugh also at themselves. Halfway problem, half solved, right? So,
of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice, we've kind of touched on the fact that there is no one pill to cure all for the budding athlete.
Yep.
What advice would you give the budding sports coach?
Work hard, be dedicated, committed to excellence, so that you match the people you're working with.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.